I'm just putting the recorder on should anybody else who's missing the meeting be um, wanting to catch up on any of the information that we're going to cover today. So once again, welcome everybody from faraway places and near. And an exciting morning. I got a little bit emotional just now because they have just revealed where 2026's uh, Sapphire Director um, uh, trip travel experience is going to be. So if you have a look at your phones today, you see they are planning to take anyone who qualifies to Egypt. So it begins now, today. The planning to get onto that trip. I'm very determined, and it will be lovely if some of you would like to come with us to Egypt this time next year. For the new people here, they have one of their they have two different travel incentives, and for those of us at this level where we are now, it's the time to start planning to get onto the one that goes to the Sapphire Director one. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Tina. So nice to see you joining us this morning. Been a while, and we're very pleased to see you here. So the reveal is then to Egypt. And the planning for those of you who are resetting and who are fairly new to have joined the business, it is more than possible to have reached the level that is needed to go on this trip with the Neolife family next May approximately. Um, and there will be hundreds of people there, and there's no reason why some of us shouldn't be there with them. I won't go through the details on how you achieve that at this meeting, but if you would like to know what you have to do, then please be in touch with the person who sponsored you. And here we have Terry coming in. Welcome, Terry. So we are very pleased to see you from faraway places as well. The reveal this morning, just to repeat again, is to Egypt this time next year. And I think there are a few of us, or all of us, on this meeting this morning. We put our heads down and do what we have to do. We can qualify to go on that trip, paid for by Neolife to Egypt with the Neolife family. So let's work on that, but we won't cover that this morning. But we can, if there are any questions in a moment, look at some of the issues and how we achieve it. This last week, just let me do the housekeeping quickly. Month end is coming up. Will be on, I'm looking at my calendar right now. So this time next week is Saturday the 31st, and so month end will be the 2nd of June. So remember the rule is 85%, what is it? 80% of the business in 20% of the time. So most of the business actually does happen statistically in the last week. So get out there and get the points moving. Start talking to people, sharing the products, and see if you can reach your target for whatever you are set for this month. I also just want to recognize, while we are talking about targets, Gavin isn't with us this morning, but a huge congratulations to Gavin for having achieved his over 500 points, and he is now a qualified manager. This whole thing about points can be very confusing when you're starting in Neolife, but just recognize and remember that every product has a point value, and every time you either purchase a product for yourself, you get the points, or you sell the product to somebody else, you get the points in your name and number. And the turnover then is not only just in the product, but as the product turns and moves and gets sold, in other words, you accumulate points. And the company will pay you on your points. Just as a reminder, because we're coming up to month end, your minimum point would be 100. That's your first goal, is to do your 100. Once you've got to your 100, you start working towards getting it to 250 and 500 points. It is a lot easier if you sponsor somebody to join with you, and then they do their 100, and that accumulates up to you, which would give you 200. Let's say then you've now got your own personal usage and sales up to 300. Your new person has done 200, and then you get to 500 points, and whoopee yay, the bells go off, and you become a director. Sorry, not a director. I wish you become a manager. Remember that your first bonus is paid at 250 points. 250 is a 3%, and then at 500 points, you will be a manager and you'll be getting a 5% bonus. Not a huge amount of money, but every single person who has ever done this business has started at that point. It doesn't change for anyone. We all have to walk the journey. Right, so this week somebody asked a question about Tre-en-en. Was it you, Meryl? I can't remember. And I did manage in the rush of the week, turning on share, please, Rob. There we go. To find that original article where the information about Tre-en-en is contained. It's quite a long article. It's 4 pages. And I just thought I would run through it as quick as I can. I looked at the AI summary that Google automatically puts up, and it wasn't really what I wanted. But I'm going to just find it here for you now. And it is So I've been on the back office looking as well. And it's also worth your while Googling some of these things, because the name McAfee was what I put up for us all. And here is the article. I'm just going to move this little line here and just shove you all off onto the side. I'm not always too good at getting rid of you all, but I'm sure I could if I put my mind to it. I can do that. Okay. And then the thing is to find you all again in a moment. Let's get this little black line up there. And let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. And it says view 1 page at a time and full screen. Okay, so I hope you can all see this. Put this thing somewhere else. It's like moving furniture around, isn't it? Anyway, so I should have tried to make this bigger, but I'm not going to. You can all read it yourselves. And please stop me as I go along, because if there anything that you want to quickly question me about, then we can go through it. But I love this. I absolutely love this article. It tells you everything you need to know about Tre-en-en. So basically the history, we go back to Romans times, probably Greek times, Bjorn, where they already had started refining grains. Now, if I'm doing a presentation to a group about Tre-en-en or to somebody on a one-to-one basis, I'm going to say to them, we are eating refined grains, and it goes back through history. We've been making this grain plant into something more tasty for ourselves, and especially into bread. And then people understand what you're talking about. In Africa, we're talking as well about the mealie, the corn, and how that we make into here in South Africa our amazing porridge called mealie meal. But it's all being refined slowly over time, and then with a great increase in this from the 1930s. If you look at the heading, it says hospital research, the story of GNLD begins in the 30s and 40s, when movie stars and other individuals were entering North Hollywood Presbyterian Hospital complaining of tiredness. Now, I mean, you have to be half a dead not to be hearing people around you talking about being tired. It's a universal problem in our world today. And as it says here, doctors were at a loss to understand what was causing this. And then they get this name of some fancy professor, And he developed a piece of equipment called a polograph. And this was an invention was refined into a fine piece of diagnostic equipment over the years, for which he got a Nobel Prize in 59, etc. And it was this machine that they were able to start using in these hospitals in this hospital in California. But they were battling to find out what was causing this tiredness. So they were interested in the relationship between fatigue and glandular function. And so this had all started, as we always tell people, straight after the Second World War. And from 46, and I didn't know this until reading this again, from 1946 to 58, there's this research team are working on this whole issue of tiredness in California. Okay, now they were testing, if you have a look at the bottom of this page, all sorts of vitamins, etc. They realized that there was a shortage of something, they were thinking, that was causing this problem. And with this polograph, they used dozens of different supplements, and none of them, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, normalized the abnormalities being observed. So you've got to keep this in mind, because this is where it becomes so interesting and significant. And we don't have to read this whole page, but just essentially at the top of this, under the little picture of the man who invented the whatever it was machine, they've got the technology developed to extract vitamin E from wheat germ was developed. So remember, at the same time, in the laboratories around that where people are doing research into nutrition, earlier in the 1930s, they've extracted vitamin C. Now we've got vitamin E. We know in our present world, vitamin D is massively important and being discussed. About 10, 15 years ago, the trending product was omega. So as we are talking now, scientists are out there working on trying to understand more and more about what all these what we call vitamins, minerals, amino acids, etc., which are put into supplements. What are they? Where do they come from? How do they work in our bodies? Now, this vitamin E thing was very important, because if you have a look there, the research team at Hollywood Hospital observed that similar lipids and sterols, now those are for the new people. I know this is quite a technological presentation today, but lipids and sterols means oil, were removed in the processing of rice and soybeans. And they developed a concentrate from these oils, which came to be known as Tre-en-en, Greek for 3-in-1. So they've got the wheat germ, they've got the soy, and they've got the rice of these lipids and sterols. And so they develop these three into a concentrate, and they begin comparing the results of the 3-factor supplementation with vitamins, minerals, and amino acids, etc. And guess what? Just guess what happened. We know the history. We know about it. We know what our own health is based on it. The researchers soon observed dramatic improvement in energy levels, and the polograph measurements showed that after adding Tre-en-en oils to the nutritional regimen of patients, that things started improving for these people. While these studies revealed nutrient deficiencies of vitamins, minerals, blah, 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 it was the lipid and sterol fraction which was being overlooked in most medical considerations. And I hate to say it, but it's still happening today. Anyway, then the middle old man, Mr. Wimmer, got very excited about it because his wife was getting better. And because of him, the product then got made into something that could then be marketed. If you have a look, it says in the course of research projects, over 300,000 assays were made before, during, and after treatment. Treatment consists of supplying specific nutritional supplements as indicated by the testing, blah, blah, blah. So out of this led to Formula 4, which was a single multiple supplement which provided the results generally obtainable in the research studies without the cost involved. Formula 4 was designed to contain all 4 of the nutritional factors researched at Hollywood Presbyterian Hospital, including vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and lipids and sterols. So I think that's very important for us because we've never ever really thought about talking about what Formula 4 stands for. So it comes out of the same research at the same time when Tre-en-en was being observed, tested, and discovered. And then they put into I presume it must have been a bottle at that time, um, the vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and lipids and sterols. Those lipids and sterols being one, it becomes Formula 4. Then they did some athletic studies, and there's a whole lot there we're not going to go into. And then as they went along, they did all sorts of other studies and discovered that if you took this thing called Tre-en-en, that actually it works on your cell membranes. It's worth looking at the sporting ones because sports people need to maintain their energy as well. I'll just go back to that one quickly. So here at various universities, look at the dates, 1957. They had players taking as many 44 pills a day in order to let them assimilate all the value. But they found that um, if they didn't have enough of the oils, the following year, a new trainer, Warren Ariel, continued the supplement program, although he had the manufacturer of the pills concentrate them so the athletes only to take one pill. So you can see how at this time they are working on making these supplements that we take today into something that is much more easily available for us to take. And then, of course, the Neolife wonder. The thing about our products is that makes them so amazing is that they are easily absorbed by our story. So there's a whole thing here about a basketball team and how the work on athletes indicate many athletes were low in androgen output. This made it more difficult to build muscle. And so with taking more of the lipids and sterols, or in other words, the Tre-en-en, they became much more efficient in their uptake of energy and in their sporting performance. What I really love about this article is the references. It's not just somebody saying something, this is based on real studies. And then the same thing at the end of the article, other references were taken from people who've done research. It's not just being made up to market something for everybody. Oh, that's false, etc. Dr. Bruce Lipton, PhD, last paragraph, performed pioneering studies at Stanford University School of Medicine. He writes, I believe that when you understand how the chemical and physical structure of the cell's membrane works, you start calling it, as I do, the magical membrane. And so this is what they discovered. If you read the rest of the article, that what the difference that the sterols and lipids that are in Tre-en-en were doing was working on our cell membrane. All right. So copyright is 2011 from Jim McAfee. I'm going to stop my share. Right. Thank you. You're still all here. Fantastic. So I don't know if that's a little bit too technical, but I wanted to really, really emphasize to you today that this product is so unique and still so unique and so important. Now, I know that sometimes people battle to take it. They feel a little bit nauseous, not necessarily get that boost of energy when they start using it. And that's why an alternative to taking the Tre-en-en on its own would be the Formula 4. It also comes in the children's vitamin. You get it in Formula 4 Plus, and it's in the Pro Vitality, apart from being in a single tablet on its own. And it is our foundation product when it comes to the nutrition side of things. I also went on to the resource center and I didn't have enough time. And I just encourage you to go onto your back offices and go and just play around with the resource center. There is so much information there. It's just almost too much. Thank you, Neolife, for all the information you've put there for us. There are certificates to congratulate people on becoming managers. There are videos. There are interviews. There are success stories. There all the flyers that we used to have in paper form are there now digitally. And a lot of information. as well for what Tre-en-en will do. Just to summarize, so we take it for energy. It makes our cell membranes pliable. I think what's the word? Soft. I love the image somebody used once upon a time to explain how Tre-en-en works. She boiled some milk and then she had a sieve and she poured the milk into the sieve, and the sieve would be representing your cell membrane. And because the fat in the milk had been boiled, it formed a skin, which then blocked the holes in the cell membrane. And that is a lovely demonstration if you want to show people what it's happening because of the incorrect things we are eating. And that is where the Tre-en-en comes in. It opens up our cell membrane, and then our food can get in and the waste can get out. And it's that simple. Right. Any questions?
I didn't realize that that article had studies of athletes so long ago. It also reminds me of the boys in the boat. And I mean, yeah, that was in 36 or something like that. So I always sort of wonder how did they, um, what sort of food were they eating? I know the coach was fairly strict.
The
But yeah,
Boys in the Boat is a book about the American rowing team, which won the Olympic medal in Germany just before the Second World War. And so it's at that time as well when all the research is starting and getting going. So I would like to also just draw your attention today as well. There are two more things I just want to talk to you about before we call the meeting to a close. I'm going to try and share again here, Rob. Going back here. I'll just go back to the McAfee. Um, Sorry. Let me just try again. It's on Google. Okay, so this morning when I woke up, I do what I always do now, which is a bad habit, and I'm sure some of you do it as well. Open up the phone. And anyway, I went onto my emails. Now I can't find it, so I'm not going to worry. I'll just tell you and I'll share it with you on the group just now. And there used to be in South Africa a magazine called Natural Medicine. And they pivoted a few years ago into a digital version of the magazine. And they do not endorse Neolife products. Obviously, they endorse anybody who pays them, I would imagine. However, there was a little article at the beginning of it. The new edition had just come out on my email. And unfortunately, I can't put it up to show you, but I'm just going to mention it and for your interest. Once again, evidence is being found to show that tons and tons of supplements out there are rancid and are not what they are claiming to be on the bottles. For example, you could be just taking some sort of corn flour with a little bit of colorant in it and being told that it's doing something for your joints. They use that sort of example. And there's some organization that tests supplements, and the article was related to somebody who had plateaued with some health issue that the person had and was using supplements especially to resolve the health issue, and nothing was changing. They then examined the supplements and discovered that they were faulty, that they were not what was claimed on the bottles, etc. So another endorsement for Neolife, that we have that story about Tre-en-en gives you a background into the quality and the testing, etc., which is the foundation of our products. And also for the new people to remember that everything in the nutrition range is coming from human food. So our bodies absorb and utilize what we are spending. On the cleaning side, our Super 10, our LDC, are environmentally safe. Our chemical overload in our planet is killing us. So we need to be thinking very carefully about what we are using when it comes to the aspect of our home care. And then could I just move into your question B that you sent this morning on the group? Has anybody got a suggestion? B would like to know for a 13-year-old, quite correctly, B, you have recognized that our skincare products are very much geared towards preserving the skin, and maintaining our moisture and all the things that skincare is meant to do. Now, how do we deal with the 13-year-old who's having a hormonal change and is having a breakout of pimples and hopefully not developing into acne? Anybody got any suggestions? Meryl, what would you suggest?
Sorry, I just had to unmute. Yeah, I was thinking more from working on the inside rather than applying something on the outside, like Formula 4 to help their child get through this transition phase, which I know is always difficult. What did anybody else think?
So definitely, if they can afford it, they would go for the Formula 4, or in fact for a 13-year-old, they may still be happy to use the Vita Squares. So be working completely on the inside to start off with, so that so what is showing on the outside is coming from the inside. And remember that your skin is your biggest organ of your body. And so it's very important that the pores should be open to let the poisons out. So whatever's going on in that child is indicating that there's toxins in there, as I would understand it. So, I mean, Tina, you are here as a beautician and know a bit more about this, but what the Neolife suggestion would be to say, I would be giving the child a zinc a day, no more than one. I would also so start with something like your Formula 4, but you can give zinc, which is very healing for the skin. And we also have vitamin A and D, which is also very, very good for the skin as well. But if they're taking the total supplement, they'll be getting more than enough if they're on either Formula 4 or the Vita Squares. And then I think I would add the zinc, especially for people with acne. They need to be taking zinc. I would also remember that a lot of the problems are coming in from the gut, is what the research is showing. And so you would, if you know, obviously the mother would have to be the indicator to see the child must be reducing eating too much sugar, and must avoid eating terrible cooking oils and things like that. So clean up the diet, add more fruit and vegetables, and drink lots and lots and lots of water. And then on the outside, we have a product called Personal Care Concentrate, which is a pH balanced soap. And that can be very nice for a teenager to wash their skin with. We use it just for washing our hands in the house, but you can use it as well on the face. And also another thing that people have often used from anecdotal sources would be the aloe gel. It's also very drying. No, you don't want to dry the skin out too much, but it's very healing. It's very good for burns and for healing things like acne sores and pimples. If you wanted to take something out of the nutrients range, of course, there would be a big help there as well. If they can afford it, then I would go with the oily skin range there. And if they wanted to use the toner to bring the skin back into the right pH, that would also be very, very helpful. There are anecdotal videos there of people with acne, and their before and after, with them using the Nutrient skincare range and showing how healing it can be. But you would have to use it consistently for quite a while. But as Tina has endorsed here, work from the inside out. And I'm sure there's more that can be said on that topic. But I hope that gives you some idea as to where to start. Don't use harsh soap or products on their face. And that's why I would say something, if they can use the cleanser and the toner and the moisturizer from the Nutrients range, brilliant, brilliant. Are there any more questions around any of these topics for this morning? Okay, so prepare yourselves. There will be a reveal for this group.
What?
What? Wait and see. You know, for things to change, we have to change. Things on the time is staying the same so far. Nothing in that area is changing. But we are working on something which I think is really exciting, and we hope to reveal to you next week a plan that we have in place for the next 6 months. So stick around and join us to. I'm afraid I haven't thought about how to make a reel to put it up on social media and everything else. But yes, guys, we are excited. We're looking for change. We're looking for different ways of doing things. And if you have any ideas to add, please direct message me. But hopefully next Saturday we will be revealing and some exciting changes that are coming. So there are 3 minutes to go. Has anybody got anything else they want to add? Right. So I'm wishing you a happy Saturday. And Rob, you can close off the
Thank
recording.
you.
And thank you so much, Terry.